The Insect Glaive got a massive buff from the beta and now it feels 20 times better than before. There are still some quirks we gotta take care of. Okay, so what is the Insect Glaive? The Insect Glaive is one of the fastest weapons in the game with very strong mobility, a surprisingly decent ranged attack, and a self-heal on top of all of that. That's all done with the Kinsect mechanic. You have an insect that follows you around, and when you attack a monster on focus mode, it will automatically extract 1 out of 4 materials. Red is more damage and extra moves, white is for movement speed and extra moves, orange is for resisting knockbacks, which is very important when you are having a weapon that has no defensives whatsoever, because we do not walk away from hits. And there is also the green one. That's just a little heal, you know, for when you need it. But the thing is that extracts are like shoe and shoelace. One is useless without the other. You need all 3 to have access to the full moveset that does the stupid amount of damage that the Insect Glaive is now memed about. The extract mechanic on itself didn't change from the beta, but Kinsects got improved. It feels like they are smoking Red Bull or something, and you get extracts way more often now, which is great. That is not to say that the extracts are not a problem anymore. The color you get is still based on the body part of the monster you hit. It varies from monster to monster, but usually, for example, red is the head, white is the torso, and orange is the extremities like the legs. But once again, it is not always the same. If you hold right trigger on your controller, you're gonna be able to aim your Kinsect and it will highlight what color you can get from that specific body part. And here's the thing, okay? If you do right trigger and then you hold triangle, you can charge it and then you press triangle again after you let it go and it will shoot it. And it's gonna do like a pierce attack that goes right through the monster. It can pick up all the way to 3 extracts, so you can go through the monster and get every single body part and get all the extracts. It doesn't happen every time. Sometimes you get a repeat color, sometimes you get like green. Green one is just a heal, it's not the extract you want, but it is very useful for getting the first extracts at the very start of the fight when you don't have anything to go for. So yeah, you can use it at the start. There is, however, one very significant quality of life change we got, and that is that you produce wounds a lot faster now. And as you guys know, if you go into focus mode and you hit right bumper on a wound, it will instantly break and it will give you all the 3 extracts. It is crazy value, even on team play, because you can actually stagger the monster back every time you do it, especially if you hit it on the leg. They are gonna limp and they are gonna fall. It is great. Also on team play you get people feeding you wounds because they are also hitting the monster, so you can get started a lot earlier. But here's the thing, okay? Why do we call the Insect Glaive a very snowbally weapon? Because as long as the fight keeps going on and you keep stacking wounds on the monster, you keep damaging it on every side, eventually you reach a point where like the monster has a wound, a weak spot all the time, and that means you can get an extract as soon as you spend it all the time. So it is one of those weapons that gets stronger as the fight goes on. But how do you play it? First of all, you're gonna be on focus mode, right trigger, remember, almost all the time. There is no reason not to be on focus mode, because when you attack on focus mode, your insect is gonna automatically attack the monster. You do not have to manually control your Kinsect anymore. You can do it manually, like I said, holding triangle and stuff, you can do it, but you do not have to, and that's huge. Also, hitting right trigger is gonna perform a dust attack. There is 2 types of dust, poison and healing. They leave a cloud on the air, and if you hit that cloud, you're either gonna do damage to the monster or you're gonna heal yourself and whoever is needed. So you could technically say we are a support weapon. Not really, but is there. You can choose the type of Kinsect and the type of dust right here in the menu. I am showing it because it is kinda hidden in the equipment tab. It is really weird. It was a lot simpler in World, but you can choose between a cauldron that is cutting damage or you can get a Moldron that is blunt damage. I recommend healing, but you can go for poison. It is up to you. The dust attack is not very good, but sometimes you can do it in between combos. It is like a decent filler, or if you need HP, that's like kinda the only way. There is, however, times where some of your combos do dust. They are very rare. I wouldn't rely on it. It's not a big deal, okay? Your basic combo is triangle, 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 circle. You want to do this one in focus mode to get your Kinsect to start harvesting as soon as possible. The circle can be a backstep, by the way, you can move away. Without extracts, your damage freaking sucks. You are absolutely useless. But here's the thing, okay? If you pop a wound, you're gonna get your extracts. So if you're in focus mode and you prioritize prioritize a part of the monster and hit the same part of the monster over and over and over, you are eventually gonna wound it. It is like 6 attacks, more or less. I actually think they changed the numbers from the beta to the full release. I feel like I am doing wounds a lot faster now. That is a viable strategy, otherwise you can be in range and just use your Kinsect manually with the charge attack, and you are likely to get all of them in one go, but sometimes it takes a little longer, it's fine. Also remember that some monsters have weak spots when they perform a certain ability, like for example Arcbell throwing the chains or the Rompopolo when it opens its beak. And those count as a wound as well, so you can make damage and get your extracts off of that. Pay attention for that. Now that we have extracts, once you have the red one, that is very important because you have access to the red charge attack, okay? That is holding circle. If you wait until you blink red, you do like a better animation and you're gonna do a lot more damage. And that animation has a 10% modifier. What is a 10% modifier? Well, it means that your sharpness counts as 10%. It's not quite that, it's just the way the math works. Okay, I get it. You are way less likely to bounce with a charge attack, so that's great. Remember that you can charge the circle attack mid-animation from the previous attack. So for example, if I do triangle and then circle, I can hold circle while I am doing the triangle attack in that animation, and by the time the attack ends, I am gonna blink red almost immediately and I can do the follow-up without losing any time. That's the most important part. You can also charge and move, which is amazing because you want to set up a lot of things. But once you get all the 3 extracts, you get access to the Rising Spiral Slash, and that should get you super excited because one of the best changes they did to the Insect Glaive is that your Rising Spiral Slash, your finisher, is almost guaranteed to generate more wounds. They also put a very generous 20% modifier on it, so it does a lot of damage and it will not bounce. But it is very simple to do. You get in focus mode and you charge circle and then you let go when you blink red, like we explained, and then you press circle again and you're gonna go up in the air, you're gonna do a quadrillion damage in AoE, and once you are in the air you can follow up with an aerial combo, aerial moves, whatever you wanna do. That's the main thing about the Insect Glaive. The floor is lava, so aerial moves, okay? That's a huge change right here. This is amazing. We got the helicopter back, okay? When you are in the air and you hit the monster with triangle, if the attack connects, you can go right back up in the air. You can bounce off the monster 3 times before you get forced back down on the ground, and that's huge of course because you can do mounting attacks very often with this. You can charge up a lot of damage. It is also very good for repositioning. There is fights where the monster is doing attacks on the ground, and if you're in the air you are not in trouble from that. For example, I don't know, Gipseros. But the thing is that you are very likely to generate a weak spot on the monster after you Spiral Slash. It is very common, like I said, so you can reposition yourself in the air with triangle attacks and just bounce and get near one of those wounds, and you can hit it with right bumper in the air. And if you connect, you also get all your 3 extracts, so you're gonna get a Rising Spiral Slash again. And that's when this weapon really comes online. You do one Rising Spiral Slash, you break a wound, you do another and another and another and another one. The only thing holding you back is that you need like 1 minute or 2 before you get to that point. But since you do multi-hits, you are hitting almost the entire body of the monster every time. So once you do like 3 of them, there is wounds all over the monster. It looks like acne. It is all completely red. Another really cool thing to remember is that both on the ground or in the air, the focus strike, the right bumper strike, will propel you backwards. Okay, so it is an amazing way to reposition yourself if you are trying to get away from an attack. And it will chain from almost every attack animation. So if you are about to get hit, you can just right bumper away and you're safe. And this is the game plan, okay? Your damage is not measured in damage per minute, it is measured on spiral slashes per minute because everything else sucks. I recommend you do the slash in this very simple combo. Triangle circle into charge, circle into circle again. That's gonna propel you up in the air, right again. And that is a very fast combo that does a lot of damage. It ends in spiral slash, so you get full value of your extracts. And then you try to break a wound from the air or from the ground. You try to break a wound immediately. If you do not have a wound open yet, just don't panic. Just go back to hitting the monster for a while until you get it. And rinse and repeat. You got no damage and then no damage and then you got boom boom and the boss is on the ground half the time and the boss cannot move and cannot fight back. That's the plan. That's what makes you very strong and easy. Also, Rising Spiral Slash has hyper armor. That means you are not gonna get knocked down in the middle of the animation by most attacks. Some of them do, but not all. You are very unlikely to get knocked back or cancelled in the middle of the animation. Very few attacks from monsters can do it. And that means you do not need defensives. Defensives. Oh. Okay, they ruined my weapon, guys. I'm gonna come clean, okay? Remember when I said that blocking is cheating? Well, they put an offset in the weapon. Your circle attacks on the ground have a teeny tiny window where if you hit the monster while on an attack animation, it will create an offset, which is essentially a parry that will stagger the monster back. It is very unreliable, it is a very small time window, so most people cannot really time it, but that doesn't matter because you are gonna get blocks offsets for free trying to do your damage, and that's awesome, I guess. Now, I feel like you should know there is a tiny filler combo you can do when you have all 3 extracts. I do not use it a lot, but sometimes you cannot do a spiral slash because the monster keeps doing like weird attacks and you cannot set up. The rising spiral slash takes a long time, so you can just do triangle and then circle, and you can just spam that over and over. It's pretty decent. The problem is that you are just as stationary, so it is not great to be in 3 extracts and not taking advantage of the spiral slash either way. In my opinion, you are wasting your buff. Overall, the Insect Glaive is not what you would call a top tier weapon. The damage is kinda lacking, but it's super easy, it has self-heals, it is safer than most weapons, and hey, no matter how many people get pissed off at you flying across the air like a harmless, useless moth while you swing the stick like a helicopter doing very little damage, it looks really freaking cool, so don't listen to them, okay? They are gonna want you to do actual rotation for damage. No, be in the air and be annoying. That's the secret power of the Insect Glaive. Subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.